I'm going to do another short tutorial with you in Adobe Animate CC. We're going to go ahead and create another HTML5 canvas project and look at a couple shortcuts this time that we didn't look at in our first one, looking at layers and animations. So starting off here in Animate, I want to go ahead and create a new HTML5 canvas project. So I'm going to click on that, and it has created a default one for me. I'm going to start by going over to the Properties Inspector and make some adjustments. So I want a 600 pixel wide by 500 pixel tall area here to work in. And I also want to go change my frames per second to 30 from their default of 24. Okay, that's a much better size for me to work in. Now, I started looking at what I wanted to create here and went and dug up some images. And actually, we can go out to here for a second. I'm in the Mountain Meadow folder, and I have an original images folder that I'm sitting out here. And out here you can find there's a mountains image that I dug up online, and there's a meadow image that I dug up online. And I wanted to combine the two of these. I wanted to use this mountains one and overlay the meadow in front of it, removing the sky from this one. And so what I did was I took the two of them into Photoshop. First I took this meadow image and masked out the sky, and then I overlaid it. And so here's a layered Photoshop file that I've created. So you can see the masking along the edge here. And this is a Photoshop file, so this is actually transparent in here. Can't tell in the quick preview here. And this is actually larger than my stage is in Animate because I want to animate these and make them move. So that's my starting point right now. I've already created this artwork outside of Animate. And the advantage is I've already resized my images and gotten them about the size I want. Actually, I've got them the size I want. And even though they're larger than my stage, and I've put them in place with each other. So I've got that original bit set up. So I'm going to go back over to Animate, and actually before I import that I should go save this. So let's go find here. I'm working in 314. I'm working in the Project 3 demo folder, and you see I have a Mountain Meadow folder. And so I'm going to name this Mountain Meadow. Okay, so there's my Animate file I'm going to save in my Mountain Meadow folder, ignoring the original images folder right now. So I'm going to save that right there. Okay, at this point I'm ready to go import those images. I'm going to go up here to File and go to Import and say Import to Stage. And once it's ready, there we go. I'm going to go locate my layered Photoshop file right here. And now I will find a screen that we have not seen before. So something a little bit different than when we have imported images in the past. So because I have a layered file, you'll notice that it shows me both layers over here. In fact, it has picked up the names of my layers, which is quite nice. I'm able to turn them on and off. I do on both of them. So that's okay right there. Let's see, let's look right up here. So import options for Meadow. Import this image layer as bitmap with editable layer style. Then you notice that it's going to create a movie clip for us. That's great. We can give it an instance name. So I'm going to call this Meadow. Now under Publish Settings, I can check compression and quality. I'm just going to use this so that it's using my Publish settings down. So that's great. Let's see, convert layers to animate layers. So that's perfect. That means it's going to keep my layers and put them as layers in Animate. Perfect. And then let's see, place objects at original position. That works really well for me. Because I already did some pre-positioning, I don't want it to move them. This last one, set stage size to the same as Photoshop Canvas. I do not want to do that because my Photoshop file is larger than my stage in Animate. And that's intentional because I'm going to move them. Okay, so I want to leave that alone. So then I want to come up, let's click on mountains. Let's double check this one. Okay, so this one, again, layer, give it an instance name, call it mountains. Settings, animate layers. Okay, everything's good on. Just want to double check both of those. And now I'm going to say import. So now it dropped them my stage. Now, my stage is a little bit small. The problem, the difficulty we have here is now you can't see the edges of my stage. So I really should go mark the edges of them. So I'm going to come down here. See, I've got this layer 1 that's not in use. So I'm going to delete that. And then I have these other 2 layers here. And I'm going to go hide them. So see where the eyeball is. Click off those. Or click on them, actually. And now I can see the edges of my stage. I want to put guides at the edge. So I'm going to come up here to Window. And let's go find, excuse me, it's not in Window, it's in View. Come find my ruler. Now, as in other Adobe products, I can click in the ruler and drag, and you see it's going to bring a guide. And so I can put a guide at each of edges, all 4 sides. That side over here. Very good. So now I can see all 4 sides, and then go back down to my timeline, and I'm going to turn this back on. So now you can actually see the edges. You can see that the mountains and sky are aligned in the top left corner. It hangs off the right-hand side. And my meadow hangs off the right-hand side. It actually extends down below, which kind of means maybe I should have cropped this out. If I were redoing this or doing an actual final project, I would probably want to go ahead and crop that. But in this case, not a real. Okay, so now I can start on my actual animation. So back down to my timeline. I'm sitting on frame 1 right now, and I want to go 120 frames. I'm going to go to 120. I'm going to click. I'm actually going to drag across both layers right there. So I grabbed frame 120 in both of those, and I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to insert a keyframe for both of those. So of course I have keyframes at 1. Those would be where my images. Now I have keyframes here at 120, and that has basically put those images at 120 as well, and now gives me the opportunity to reposition them there. Okay, with those in place, now I can go to each of my layers in the timeline and start to add my tween in. So I'm going to click in the top one on the meadow timeline. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to create a classic tween across that. So of course that's creating the tween between frame 1, which I can't see over there, and frame 120. I'm going to repeat. I'm going to click down in the mountain one, right click, and create a classic tween on that one as well. So now at this point I can scrub back to frame 1. Now that I'm on frame 1, I check my position. Okay, this is my starting position, so everything is good there. So now I can scrub over to the end. Ooh, went flying by. And drag out to frame 120, because that's the end of my tween. Okay, when I reach the end of my tween, I want these to be in their ending position. So I'm going to click on the meadow right here, and I'm going to drag it over. I'm holding the shift to constrain, and I'm going to get right about there until I'm at the last edge of it right there. Next, I'm going to click on mountain here, making sure I'm still on 120 on it, and it along its point as well. Okay, so now I have both of those at the point I want. I can actually scrub through the end. You can see the movement, and so basically I've created kind of a parallel view between these two. So the front is moving faster than in the back. Okay, so that is the first bit of effect that I with this. We can of course test this real quick in our browser. Moving is pretty good there. Well, of course it resets and starts over again. So I've not put a stop animation on. Probably that'd be my next best move. So let's see, while I'm here, let's click on the meta layer, add a layer above it. And this one, actions. Okay, let's go out to the end point. Here, there we go. We'll go to 120, right click, and insert a blank keyframe. So this blank keyframe is where I'm going to put the action. To window, actions, code snippets, HTML canvas. This is timeline navigation, and there's the code for stop at this frame. And so I'm going to double click on that. And again, I had these here, they fell out. We had the actions right there. It's right there. Okay, so now I have those, and so again, if I go preview this in the browser, we should see it run through once. Animation just stopped. There we go, just like that. Okay, so that is looking pretty good. So at this point, I would invite you to just kind of go explore a bit with what you can find here. So I have the two different images that are sitting out here, and I can select between the two of them. And when you select them, then you know that you can come over here. You can work with color effects. We've played with alpha at this point, but we have brightness and tint right there. We do have display, so we have blending. Many of them are working here, but if I was working with type or something like that, those I would have more of those. And there is actually a series of filters in here that you can go play with as well. So I encourage you to go play with those. Also, if I come click in my timeline, just as a reminder, then you look at your properties again, a little different. We've played with easing and we've worked with rotating here. So that's where those settings I want to go back over and work with those some more. Okay, I'm going to save. Got all of that saved. And now I can move on to the next piece that I do with here. Next thing I wanted to do is actually wanted to work with some type. And I'm going to go down to my mountain layer, add a layer above it. I'm going to emit sunshine, because I'm going to do some type that says sunshine. It's been raining a lot lately, and looking at these beautiful spring-looking images, I'm going to work with some sun type. So, let's see. I got my layer there, and I want to go get my text tool. Just click on myself, work in. I'm going to just type the word sunshine, case. And now with that selected, over work with fonts and work with my size and so forth. See, I had a good typeface selected. Don't condensed black is kind of. Let's get some more size on. It's not bad. Too big. No. Okay. My edges in there. My color white. If I go get my selection tool, I over. Oops. Make sure I got the right thing. That was the wrong thing. And that is because my meadow, if you look at the image, it extends. So I'm going to go to meadow and lock. Might as well lock my one as well. And go back to my sunshine. Move this around. I want it to kind of tuck in between these, so I like how that's looking right there. Though I think I want to start it off frame. You know what? I'm going to leave it right there. Scroll out here to the end timeline. Come out here to 120. Click, right click, insert a keyframe right there. Okay, so now I have a keyframe at the beginning and the end. They match. So it's currently using this position for the beginning and the end. So let me go almost forgot. Need to put a classic tween in there. So that will give me movement. Let's go to the very, this is my beginning. So frame 1 actually want. Okay, so we're going to start off over there. The other thing I want is, let's see, I'm going to go do an alpha, completely transparent. Then you scroll back to the end position. I still want an alpha about get some transparency. So now when I scrub through here, you can see it move. You can see the transparency. So that's my ending right there. So once again, let's do a quick save. Let's go view it in the browser. Moves, type slides in. Okay. Actually, my position's a little higher than I wanted it. I kind of wanted this E to tuck under. Let's here. Last adjustment at the end. I wanted to tuck just a little bit. Preview. Like how that's tied up under there. Very good. Okay, back over here. Let's see. Okay, so that was my classic tween. Let's see. Oh, I could put an ease on this as putting it on it so it moves in, kind of slows down. So let's click on my timeline at 1. Come up my ease up here, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and give it 100, which is out. So it moves in quickly and then it slow gets into place. Okay, so good. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to point out. So we've done this is a little different than the earlier one we did, where we were putting elements on the page, and we would turn them into symbols, and then we would double click and edit the symbol, and put our animations there. So at this point, we have all of our animations just sitting out here. They're not sitting in the symbols themselves. So it's a little bit different there. I did want to point out that I can click in here and highlight, so I can go all the way up. So that's one frame across all of my layers. You can grab multiples this way. And then if you right click, you can come in here, insert frames. So that would extend my timeline by the number selected. Or I could, of course, come in here and remove shorter. So that's a nice quick way to delete frames from my overall timeline. So basically just lengthening or shortening my overall. I think I want to add one more piece of type that's going to slide down from the top here. I want it to end up saying play in the sunshine, not just saying sunshine. So I'm going to go to my timeline and add one more layer above the meadow. I'm going to call this play. Yeah, let's just stick with play. And I'm going to go get my text tool over here. And I'm still on frame 120, which actually works out well because I want to put this in its final position first. And actually, good deal. That's the font I wanted to go for. So Dancing Script is a Google font that I was playing with earlier. So I want to use that here. So Dancing Script at 55 points. And I am on, let's see, yeah, let's do it like this. I want to tuck it in like that. So I get play in the sunshine. And here I am. So that's currently on the first frame. But I'm going to go to frame 120 right here and right click and create a keyframe there. So now it's also like that on frame 120. Again, click in the middle, create a classic tween. So I can slide through here. It doesn't change because it's the same on both ends right now. So now that I'm back on frame 1, I want to take this and I'm going to grab it and slide it up to the top. I want it to be up above so that it starts up there and then slides in. So now if I start, you can see it sliding in. Now the only thing is think I might want it to start a little bit later. So I'm going to come here, grab my first keyframe, and I'm going to drag it in. Oops. And let's go to 30. So that would start 1 second in. So let's see what that looks like. So that starts sliding in, and then play in the comes in right there. Sunshine arrives first. That's okay. Kind of like it that way. Okay, so I like that. Let's see. The only thing is this might be a little too bright. So let's go back to my alpha again. And 80. That sounds good. Let's stick with 80. And let's go back to the very beginning, actually, frame 30 up here. And let's give it the alpha as well. There we go. Just to make it consistent. So one more time here. Watch that one slide in. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, I was thinking about just one other little thing, just a little touch that I want to run continuously. So let's see, to do that one, I am going to create just a shape that's just going to move through here. And where all of this this animation runs once, I want this one to run continually. And this one, I think I want it, let's go back to frame 1. I am going to put it, let's see, let's put it, I want it above the mountain and under the meadow, and let's just put it above the sunshine. Or go under the sunshine. Let's go under the sunshine. I can move it later if I want. So I can give myself a new one there. And this is going to be, I'm going to call it, I don't know if it's going to look like this or not, but I'm going to call it Sundrop. Okay, so now I'm on frame 1 here. And what I want is, I just want this little drop thing, like this circle, to be cycling through. And it's just going to continue going along. So, because I want it to go on and on, actually, I don't want to put it on my timeline here. I actually want to put it in a, well, here, let's do the shape first. Tell you what, that's what I really need to do. So let's create the shape first. I want it to go, I'm going to give it a starting point right up here. So there's a nice round circle. I'm going to select it, and I want it to be bright yellow. It looks very bright. Okay, so that's my starting point. So, now what I need to do is I'm going to control click on this, or right click on this, and I want to convert it to a symbol. Okay, and I guess I'll go with my same naming. I'm going to put it in a movie clip and say OK. And then I actually want to double click it and put the animation in it. Okay, so now I'm in it. Now I can name this layer. And you can see up at the top that I'm within the symbol. I'm animating it in the symbol. So I want this one to just keep cycling down. And I want it to go relatively fast. I'm trying to remember how long is my timeline here. I should go back out. 120 out here. So let's go back in here again. So I'm debating whether I should let it move by in 30 frames or a second. I think I should go with 60. I think 30 is going to be too fast. So let's go to 60. I'm going to insert a keyframe. So now I have that drop there as well. And now I'm going to go to the middle, and I am going to create a classic tween. Okay. Again, I'm going to go to the last frame, and I'm going to move this one. And actually, it only has to drop behind the meadow because it's behind it. Okay. So now when I do this, you can see it move. It's just going to slide on by. Okay. And I'm not going to put a stop on this one. So let's come out here. Okay, it's not going to preview this one here. So I'm going to have to go view this one in the browser. Let's do a quick save and a command return on the Mac. And there it goes. And it just keeps going. Okay, so all those finish, and then this thing just keeps sliding by there. So that was what I was shooting for. It's kind of an interesting little effect, just to keep something rolling by. So that's how I can have a stop action on my main timeline, but then to create something that keeps moving, I'm going to create the shape, or whatever the element is, convert that to a symbol, and then go edit that symbol and put the animation in there with no stop on it. So that's my best approach there. So anyway, hope you learned a few new things in this latest tutorial.